Hey everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Multiverse, the DC Comics podcast from MailFuzz TV. I'm Peter, and I'm joined, as always, by Matt
Hey, what's up?
and Connor.
Hey everyone.
That was the most subdued intro I think we've done in like months. I had nothing fancy to say before either of the names. Both of you just went, "Hey, what's up?"
'Cause I'm just following your lead, Pete.
Yeah,
Following
exactly.
your lead.
Okay.
You say something fancy, then maybe we will.
Oh, so much pressure.
I mean, I can yell about Connor Kent, but I figure you don't want that this early. So,
Who?
don't you son of a bitch.
It's so easy, Matt. It's so easy. It's so easy. So yeah, we talk about comics, and coming up on this week's show, we are going to talk about the third part of the button, which is Batman issue 22, Superman 22, Nightwing 20, Green Arrow 22, Green Lanterns 22, Deathstroke 18, Bane Conquest number 1, and Fall and Rise of Captain Atom number 5. So that's the books that we're going to talk about in this show. But before we get to any of that, actually, I teased some news last week, and we should probably open with that and talk about what that is. So if you do pay attention to the YouTube channel, you'll already have seen that we launched a Patreon. Actually today. Normally we record just before we put this up, but we're recording a day in advance because Matt's anniversary is this weekend, so we're getting out ahead of the curve. And so obviously, if you want to support us, you can go to Patreon and you get stuff for as little as $1. Obviously, don't feel any pressure. But if you do want to help us out, there's some cool bonuses, especially at the $5 tier for the comics folk. If you're interested in more comic stuff, there'll be bonus little comic reviews for stuff that's not DC Comics. Everything that's DC will stay in the podcast. Nothing's been like taken away or anything that you already get. Like everything's still going to be part of the show. But if there's a couple of bonus things, me and Connor already read the first issue of Aliens Dead Orbit, the new Alien book from Dark Horse, and we talked about that for 15 minutes. So that's already up for patrons on day one, so that kind of thing. There might be some written stuff as well. And then the other thing is you get to vote on what sort of trade, paperback, or story arc that we read and talk about in the fifth week of the month, if there is a fifth week. And there is this month, so the early patrons will get to vote on what we cover. So that poll will be going up soon, actually. We'll just be finalising what will be the options, and people will get to vote. And that's what we'll talk about in the final episode of the month. So, yeah. So that's the thing happening.
I'd buy that for $1.
There's also the tier to potentially punish me.
Oh, go on. Yes, tell them about this.
So Connor's Corner, which, if you've been around for a while, you'll remember as a thing. But it's slightly different now. If you pay the $30 tier, you get to choose any book and make me read it and talk about it on the show. And that can be any book at all.
Any single issue, any book. And I think, to your long-time audience, I think you'll remember that when he finally was able to give up Red Hood and the Outlaws, we made him say what his price would be, and he said it would cost $100 for him to read another issue of Red Hood. We talked him down. we got him down to 30.
The saving grace is here. You can make me read anything. It doesn't have to be Red Hood. Don't feel pressured to make me read Red Hood. You can pick anything.
But I'll give you a high five if it is Red Hood.
And if you do pick Red Hood, and it's 30 instead of 100, so you get a bargain.
Or because there's a limit of 4, obviously we can't do an infinite amount of these. So the idea is that if all 4 slots are taken, then it'll be one per week, regardless of when each issue came out, just so that it's spread out throughout the month. And so theoretically, if 4 people all pick Red Hood, he has to reread issues of Red Hood as well, and somehow talk about them.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a book from that particular month. You can go and say Red Hood issue wherever I ended and make me read that one and go in order, or you can go just read the new one, make me jump. Yeah, again, I really want to specify this. It does not have to be just Red Hood. It can be. Look. They're all going, punish him. Make him read something he hates. It can be just something you really want us to talk about. You want to hear something discussed.
Don't waste your money and give him something good. That's a waste of money, right? Give him something bad.
Here's the thing. So these are limited to, 4 a month people, because there's only 4 weeks, occasionally 5, but we're gonna
only so much time to actually devote to doing this kind of
thing. So if you really want to be solid, you can give us $60 and give them a good book one week and Red Hood the next week. So I'm just saying.
Okay, Matt's trying to like extort people here.
It's called upselling, Pete. It's called upselling, Pete.
All I will say, okay, it doesn't have to be Red Hood, but there is an implication.
Okay, there is an implication, yes.
There's an implication to pick Red Hood. But you can pick anything you want. You can make him read Scott Lobdell Superboy. You can make him read Scott Lobdell Superman. You can make him read Scott Lobdell...
Hearing that name is making my skin crawl. Please stop saying it.
And also, it doesn't have to be just DC. This is the one time where you can get any book from any company on the main show.
Aye. So, once you've made him read all the Scott Lobdell library, make him read something else from somewhere else. But that's just a fun one. The reason why it's obviously a higher tier is because it's forcing him to do something he doesn't want to do. The idea is that all the cool stuff will be in the $5 or lower tier, and you get cool little extra bits, and you get to vote on the 5th week and stuff. So if you do want to do that, if you're interested in it, head over to patreon.com/mailedfuzztv, and obviously you get other perks as well for all the other stuff we do on the channel if you happen to be interested in those as well. Don't worry, we're not going to do this little intro every single week now where we're like, oh, go to Patreon. No. We'll mention it at the end. When I'm doing the Twitters, we'll mention it kind of briefly there. But this is the first week where we launched it, so we wanted to just sort of explain what the comics-related perks were and filling everyone in. So.
And what is the address for that for any audio listeners?
I said it. Patreon.com/mailedfuzztv.
You gotta say it again in case people weren't listening.
Yeah.
So I know I do that on podcasts.
I'll say it a third time just to hammer it home for Connor, who looks clearly distressed. Patreon.com/mailedfuzztv.
There we go.
No underscore
audio
there.
folks, you've had it nice and clear.
Alright, no news this week. We have less books, so I'll be nice. Matt, how was your week?
Pretty good. Pretty busy, but good nonetheless.
Oh, you don't know busy. You don't know the meaning of the word busy this week.
Wow.
Oh.
I mean, I work 45 hours a week, Pete.
Okay, sure.
So I kind of do know busy.
But this has been one of the most hectic recording weeks me and Connor have had ever since the channel started. We have been chock-a-block. Like, we're still behind.
I've been working too.
Yeah.
So you've had it easy, mate.
Good.
Yeah. We're still behind. We've still got shows backed up from like 2 days ago.
I'm getting caught up on Silicon Valley. That's why I'm in such a good mood. By caught up, I mean there's been 2 episodes. I watched 1, but
I'm still working my way through Seinfeld in my downtime. That's fun to revisit.
What's downtime?
It's this myth, Connor. One day you might discover it. It's nice.
Also,
I get in from work. I come and record. That's all I do now.
Although I will say this. Downtime is not as much of a myth as this Connor Kent that Matt keeps going on about. I don't know where he comes from.
If I had heat vision right now, you'd so be ended. So it would make Goldie the cat look like a very quick and simple death. Let me just say that way.
The only note I have is that I went to trim my beard earlier today and I made a mess of it, so I had to shave the whole thing off, and I'm not happy. I hate this.
I did that once with my eyebrows. Think of that. Not all the way off, but the guard slipped as I was trimming them with my electric clippers, and I took it down pretty low.
I've got to say, Matt, I don't think I've ever trimmed my eyebrows. I've never felt the need to.
Mine get bushy. People notice, so I have to. I had the lady that cuts my hair asked if she could trim them last time, so that was it.
It's really amusing me that Pete shaved because his lips look ridiculously red now. It does look like he's wearing lipstick today.
I just have really red lips.
He's pale face, red lips. He's just missing the green hair.
Look, Connor's got red hair. You've got a red hat. I had to have red something. So here we are.
Pretty soon, Connor's gonna have 4 issues of the Red Hood.
What have I done?
Also, I'm pretty sure Matt's going to put in $30 himself just to force it.
My wife stopped me twice.
Get another card. Get another credit card, Matt.
One that's
off the books. Off the books that she doesn't see.
Apparently, paying the paying the house rent is much more important than making Connor read Red Hood. So
I think she's probably right.
I don't know. I feel like maybe our life.
Point.
Yeah.
To a point. You know.
I feel like there's some choices here that have been made poorly. That's all I'm saying. Alright, let's talk about books then, shall we? Enough faffing around. So, first up, Batman number 22, Joshua Williamson writing. Obviously we had that news like last week. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I don't know, it was very recent.
Last week.
Joshua Williamson writing, David Fabok. Why did you say Finch? Why did I write down Finch? That's...
And also you said David Fincher.
Did I?
It's completely wrong medium.
I think it's because I realised it was the wrong name as I was saying it. I went, why the hell is that there? And I just kind of...
You've completely cocked that up.
You did.
Look forward to Red Hood, you piece of shit.
This issue made it clear that everyone knows here that I really love Jeff Johns. Like, he's one of my favorite writers of all time. Mm-hmm. I feel like Williamson is officially the heir apparent to Jeff Johns, because the fact he was entrusted to clear up parts of Flashpoint, I think that's kind of all the evidence I need. He was trusted with Flash, who we all know is like Johns' favorite character, and handpicked by Johns alone. So the fact he was able to jump from Flash to Batman, take over for King, and make a really solid issue. I mean, I'm tipping my hand a bit, but damn, that dude can write.
Yeah, so Matt liked it. That's obviously we ended up last issue with Flash and Batman landing in Flashpoint World, and we start with sort of Thomas Wayne from Flashpoint's perspective of what's going on. Apparently, this world's kept going, and the war has become so severe that they eventually agreed that they're one true enemy, and they teamed up to take on Batman because he's causing too much trouble for them.
It's Wonder Woman and Aquaman, which I think is a very... I can't remember the end of Flashpoint. Were they on the same side by the end there?
Oh no, they were still fighting. They were basically
still fighting.
They were destroying the planet basically by the end of it, but they're fighting.
Yeah, so they've come together to so Batman's a menace and needs to be taken out. So I thought that was interesting. I wonder how much time. I wonder if the time thing matters here, or if it's only been a couple months.
I don't know.
As far as Thomas is concerned.
I think
it seems to have only been a couple of months as far as our characters are concerned. So
I think more than a couple. If I was to guess, I'd say it's like, I don't know, 6, something like that.
Yeah. But it's definitely. I'm sure in the last few issues, maybe it was even this one, someone mentioned a matter of months. So it's. I don't think the New 52 even lasted a full year.
Yeah.
So it's probably been about the same sort of time in the.
If only, am I right?
I know. It was 5 years and it felt 5 years. Jesus. All right, so obviously Bruce and Thomas are like, oh crap, this can't be real. What's happening? And then obviously the army show up and Flash. I need to rebuild the cosmic treadmill, and obviously it's the Flash, so that's actually something they can do quite quickly. So Batman and Batman fight side by side, and obviously the small moment I think everyone's going to enjoy is when Thomas goes for his gun and Bruce batarangs it out of his hand because no.
Yeah,
you listening to me? And they talk about when he fell in the cave because that's a memory they both have because it was before the shooting and therefore presumably the first 8 years of his life are the same in this world.
Yeah,
or however old he was when his parents got shot, and. So we have that, and that's basically most of it. Obviously, there's the big thing at the end, which teases the finale, but most of the issue is they're fighting off this army, Flash rebuilds the treadmill, and Bruce is leaving with Barry, and he's asking Thomas to come with him, and Thomas is like, no, this is my place, and he asks Bruce to give up being the Batman. Let the Batman die with him, I don't want you to be this. And he does this thing where he runs off into the blinding white light that's destroying very, very Manhattan as the buildings are disintegrating and all that, and Thomas Wayne runs off into this white light. And obviously, I don't think for a second that Bruce is going to give up being the Batman. I think maybe he'll have some weird doubts based on this interaction. Maybe it'll put a wrench in his thoughts. I definitely
think he's going to change the way he goes about things. I definitely think this is going to be the end of the My Poor Parents Bruce. And I think we're going to get a more Morrison-esque, I'm a superhero, I'm here to make the world a better place. more than.
I think a big part of it as well is what he even brings up to him. He's like, "Oh, by the way, you're a grandfather. I have a son." Like, I think becoming the father rather than the child who lost his parents might be a big part of it.
I think that actually fits in the overall narrative of King's Run. Obviously, the whole thing with him talking to his mother, and that kind of really closed off at the end of the last bit. He kind of got that almost closure. So this here, the more literal closure with his father.
Yeah. So I think obviously maybe the realization, if he does have some doubts for a bit, is that his Batman is not the same as his Batman. Like, his Batman is this almost beacon of hope for a lot of people. It's not this vengeful, violent monster that Thomas thinks of it as, that he has become.
Right.
I think that's interesting. Obviously some great panels in there where they both put on their kills at the same time and they're like standing side by side, and
I love as they're doing this, Barry's in the background reassembling the Cosmic Treadmill. In super speed. Like, nice touches from Fabok there.
Yeah. My favorite stuff art wise probably is the city being like disintegrated and then like Thomas running into it. Like, I just really love that stuff. I think it just visually stands out because it is like the white sort of like bleeding in and like things are going away, and it makes whatever's still left be so stark and like stick out against it. But it's not just like let's have a quick easy background because it's just white. It's like it's got a important meaning because nothing's there. That's the point.
Yeah, and obviously we were questioning last week what actually happened with the Flashpoint world. Like, did it carry on? And this has pretty much answered that now. We got that, and I think now this is over now. Yeah,
it seems whoever is controlling things, presumably in Manhattan at this point, has kept it around just long enough for this interaction.
Yeah,
and is disintegrating it now.
Because Barry points out that they're on the same vibrational frequency. They're not on an alternate timeline that is their timeline. So now you start to get to that timey-wimey stuff again.
Well, it's not their timeline; it's their Earth. Just to get
it's their Earth.
The phrasing right.
Yeah. So everything, and that's what I have a hard time wrapping my brain around, right? Because of that whole, it wasn't an alternate reality. It wasn't an alternate Earth. Like, it was all. Their time had broken.
I think with this issue and the last one as well, when they were going through the treadmill for the first time and we've seen all the different eras of Justice Leagues and whatnot, I think what's really set to me is that the timeline right now is super sensitive. And obviously what's just happened with Superman has also affected things and how people have remembered him. Clearly things are in flux, and I feel like by the time we get to the end of this Rebirth story, there might be like a cementing of what the current reality is. Like, when we finish everything up, like, okay, right, things are set in place now for however long until the next big event in 10, 20 years.
Yeah, it's kind of like Hyper Time from Zero Hour in the 90s.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And so, if there was only a time-traveling hero that is in the time stream, I wonder if he'll have anything to do.
I don't know. I mean,
Flash is in the time stream at the end of this issue.
Yeah, I'm just talking about in the grand scheme. Not that it has to do with the button, but if you're talking about solidifying, takes of realities and whatnot, that's my boy Booster Gold's thing, So I'm wondering if his absence is another Manhattan machination.
It may be. I can see it.
It could be, yeah. Like, no, I'm not having you messing about. You stay over here.
Yeah.
You fix it because I'm trying to break.
Yeah, and it also ties into why Mixie was scared of him and why he was hiding.
Yeah.
Because Manhattan didn't want him, or Oz didn't want him faffing around with things and timey-wimey nonsense. So obviously the ending is they go on the treadmill again as the world's collapsing and they go back out of the time stream. And who runs up behind them but Eobard Thawne, Reverse Flash, and timey-wimey nonsense is in full flux because this is actually before he dies, because he's still got the button in his hand and he's like, oh, I know who owns this, and they've never faced someone like me, and that's obviously the cliffhanger as we leave off to the final part, which is not next week, damn it.
Force, bro. Yeah.
Because it's been delayed a week. But that serves Matt well, because Matt's going to be skipping an episode next week because he's out of town, and it also means it happens to land on our 52nd episode. Which, by the way, this is episode 50, which I feels like should be celebrated, except that because this is DC, no, we're celebrating 52. 50 is meaningless. 52 is important.
Yeah, we'll get
There's still going to be an update.
Oh, Matt. Jesus Christ.
Apologies, listeners.
Yes, continue.
I still don't know why my mic decides to do that. It's got a mind of its own.
Because it's evil.
Yeah, could be. It might be Brainiac. I don't know. I'm gonna be nice to it though. It's got a core. I don't want it to strangle me in my sleep. So, but I lost my train of thought because of the Brainiacing.
We were talking about episode 52 and
it's
on
not going to be an upcharge on the cover price like comic companies like to do across the board for the 50th issue.
Yes, of course, yes. Obviously, the art was great. We liked Fabok in the first Batman issue of this, and it was great here again. I have nothing really to add about the art, just other than what I said about the white stuff. But yeah, that's good. It's really good.
And it just shows how versatile he is, because obviously last time he was playing through the 9-panel grid, whereas this was much more traditional.
Yeah.
And it just shows that he can do anything, really.
Yeah, also the last one was very Batman focused, where this was as well to an extent, but it definitely had more flashy things going on because running through the time stream and cities disintegrating. There was a lot more big sort of ideas and comic booky, whereas the last one was a really almost simple, relatively speaking, fight.
It was just a fight.
Yeah, sure, one of them's a speedster, but still, still a fight. So no, Batman 22 was solid. I'm looking forward to seeing what revelations or what we get coming out of this last issue in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy because I feel like we've got one issue left, and I don't think it's progressed that far, really.
No, I think what it's really done, at least so far, it's solidified to Batman and Flash. Right, someone's messing with things.
Yeah, and I don't know how much detail they're going to learn at the end of this next issue. Do they follow Thorn and see what he saw, but they get away?
Yeah, maybe. Did they see a glimpse of something important? I feel like this is the issue to put something like that in, just a glimpse of something, maybe. I don't know, but that's where we're leaving off. So 2 weeks' time, finale of the button. Looking forward to it. So yeah, that's Batman 22. That'll take us on to Superman issue 22. Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason writing, plus Doug Mahnke helping out on the art. And this was a Lois focused issue, which I liked a lot. This was her being like, wait a minute, Batman's went missing, Jaun and Damian have both went missing, and Superman's not missing, he's off hunting like Batman, but like she's on her own and she's like doing her investigative stuff, she's finding stuff out, and it leads to some fun action throughout. So
goes to Goldie's grave.
Yeah, it goes to Goldie's grave, the tree's on fire, she talks to Cobb about it, she's into town and discovers that at least it seems that everyone in the town's in this charade. Like, it's not just Cobb, there's tons of people who aren't what they say they are.
Yep. Something strange is afoot in Hamilton County.
And unfortunately, the cover for 25, which was revealed this week, spoils who's behind it all.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Have you not?
No.
Oh, I'm going to look. Because I don't care. Because I got to know.
Oh, well, I suppose I should have a look as well then, shouldn't I?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Not in the middle of the show. Come on now, guys. Let's have some decorum.
Should have said anything, Pete.
Decorum
if you hadn't
here.
said anything, we wouldn't have known.
I'm just... I'm being transparent with the facts. Because I know. God damn it.
Yeah, and neither of us can accept you knowing and us not. So
no.
That's just how this works.
All right, okay.
What I liked here was everything was in Lois's perspective.
Until the last few pages, yeah.
Say that again, Pete.
Until the last few pages.
Yeah. Until the last few pages, but yeah, it was.
Also,
oh man, that's major. Wow.
Yeah, there's stick in the issue. We follow Lois and she finds this stuff out and she goes back and it ties back into her being in that big Bat-mech suit from earlier.
Yep.
And she has the glove left and she starts like because all the townsfolk have gathered in the house to like capture like a weird cult.
Yep.
And she starts firing off the glove at them and she's like holding her own and then the glove calls the nearby Batmobile, which obviously Batman had nearby when he came to visit. Yep. And she goes inside the Batmobile. So they now have Lois operating a Batmobile and firing off all its defences. Of course, then it ends with Cobb stripping the Batmobile into parts with, telekinetically. And he's like, "Hi, Lois." And it's all sinister, and that's how we end her part of the story. And then we find Superman, like, underground. So there's a lot, like, weird tunnels down here that we didn't know about. And he finds Damian and Batman and other people all in, like, Frankenstein's one of them.
Frankenstein?
Yeah, all held captive in these weird test tube-looking things, and that's where we leave off. So Yeah, the weird stuff that's going on, something big is going down, and it's weird conspiracy nonsense. I like this issue a lot, though. There's a lot of atmosphere as Lois was like going around a creepy town trying to look for answers. Where are people? Kind of thing.
It's kind of Carpenter-esque, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
John Carpenter vibes.
A little bit, kind of like the Fog or maybe something like that. One of those type of Carpenter movies.
Yeah, definitely.
I can see it. I can see it. Yeah.
But yeah, it was the art. I like Mahnke's Lois a lot. Like,
yeah,
I think he draws her. I mean, it's weird to talk about Lois as a character that gets drawn differently, but here she definitely, since it is kind of action oriented, you know, I think it fits her because she really is the normal one out of Batman and Superman, so she really does have to rely on her wits. So, but they kind of makes her a superhero in this one. I like it with her Batman gauntlet.
And she's got this sort of like tank top on, so she's almost giving off like a Lara Croft kind of a mum version of it, but like a kind of Lara Croft vibe, just with the top she's wearing, which is kind of cool.
It's really nice just to have a Lois issue in general, because it's been a while since we've had one from this or Action.
Yeah.
We had one in Action, but maybe 6 issues into Rebirth, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was post the Doomsday stuff.
The last one I remember in this series was just the first bit of the Frankenstein story.
Yeah, yeah. So, no, it was nice to give her some focus. As we said, art's really good. There's facial expressions and the detail in there. Cobb's mustache is a thing of beauty, actually, now that I'm looking at it again. So that's pretty cool. I actually kind of like how the Batmobile's so completely stripped, and like at the end of it, Lois is literally just sitting on the ground in the seat. In the car chair.
It's very cartoony. Like, you see that in cartoons a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. But no, it's very, very moody. Like you kind of feel the atmosphere of the night throughout it, which is really cool. Obviously, a big part of that's the art, and a big part of it's the plot. But it's really cool. And then you have the big ending, the big cliffhanger that has all these people held captive, including our main heroes.
And like test tube looking things, like not test tubes, but like stasis chamber. Kind of deal.
Yeah, they're almost like cryo chambers.
Aye, they're all asleep, in these tubes. So, it was a fun issue. It may actually, I think it may be my favourite issue overall of this arc so far. That said, the "We Need to Shine Brighter" line in the first issue obviously is a standout moment. But I think maybe this one helped just because it had so much atmosphere throughout as Lois was searching for them.
I'm really enjoying this arc in general. Like you say, atmosphere is just what it all is, especially this issue and the one before. Just all of the stalking around and the village people being all in on it. It's kind of
this village people. I don't them do anything since like the 80s.
Very, very good, Matt.
Touche.
How about townsfolk?
Townsfolk, yes.
I will accept it.
Yeah, they're going to free them from these tubes, and they're just going to start doing the YMCA. That's the plan. That's the end of this arc.
Oh man, how good would it be to see Superman just do the YMCA?
Joe, it's funny actually. One of the best moments of the entire New 52 Superman in Action Comics was the Horrorville arc.
Yes.
You would not expect Superman to mix with horror that well, but for some reason it seems to be happening every so often here.
Yeah, it just works,
at their best. Yeah, it was a great arc there.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Small town creepy. It's one of my favourite settings for a horror movie actually is like a small town. Like that's the perfect kind of place to set it. Unless you're going really specific, like a specific building, which is also fun. But nah, small town horror mixed with Superman, I cannot complain. Alright, that'll take us on to Nightwing number 20. Tim Seeley writing, Javier Fernandez on art. So this is the conclusion to the Nightwing Must Die arc. We're down in the tombs, and Damien's been held captive. It looked like he'd been stabbed. Well, it turns out he had been stabbed, but Damien can move his organs out of the way, so he's not
the most Damien resolution.
Yeah.
You can do that. I'm the heir to Batman. Of course, I can do that.
He has a because Damien.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's basically because Batman. But it's because son of Batman. Is basically the response.
But see, I give Damien more leeway with that because he is such a little shit. Like, it makes sense. He goes, because I'm the son of Batman, that's why.
Yeah, when he says it's his dickish, arrogant way.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah,
and
Batman would very rarely actually ever say because Batman, but Damian
Yeah.
would say it every 2 days. Like every 10 minutes, he's firing that sentence off.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I love that. When I got to that part in the issue, I was just like, oh, of course, because I thought it was going to be a decoy. Like I didn't think that was actually the real Damian, because we'd seen, in the last issue, we had seen Dick walk down that corridor with all the different versions of himself. So I thought, well, it's not outside the realm of possibility that this is just another imposter.
Yeah. So. I love that Damian's first words when he wakes up are just, Grayson, you're an idiot.
That's really good. Obviously, this issue actually gave me a lot of feels for the Grayson and Damian pairing. The ending, of course, because Dick spends a lot of time in this issue in a sort of daze. He's sort of hallucinating and having this, like he thinks he's Deathwing and he's fighting stuff, and then he fights like a Nightwing that's got like a motorbike helmet on, and when it turns out that it's actually Damian under the bike, as if Damian has inherited the Nightwing mantle instead of the Batman mantle. And it's this realization that, and I really like this actually, that the mantle of Robin's his to pass on, not Batman's. It's a really cool little touch.
I like that exchange there where he was like, when they first teamed up, he said, someday you'll probably be Batman. Like, that's your mantle. But Robin, that's my thing to give you.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to earn it. And I love that we've seen throughout here that, Damian has earned it. I mean, he's a prick, but,
But
that shouldn't disqualify him. Yeah.
Obviously, I think I've had this before, but I really noticed it in this time in the art with Deathwing. It's particularly as a page where he's at the top, there's a panel of him like sort of opening his mouth and smelling, but there's bits of the skin of the face like still connected in front of the mouth. It's just super creepy. I like it. I like it. It's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And Sean tries to like comfort him and like, oh no, it wasn't you. Like you've been mistreated. And Deathwing's, oh, I tried to like fix a broken Nightwing, but the Nightwing fixed a broken me. Like we kind of get the sense that he was really disturbed even before all this happened. Like he was.
Yeah, because he sought out. I almost said sucked out. That's a terrible grammar. But he sought out Professor Pig and Dr. Hurt to have this done to himself.
Yeah.
So I hope this isn't the last we get of that type of story. Like, hope there's some bigger things going on here.
Speaking of like the art, going back to the art again, I really like that when we're in like the hallucinations, the panels are all kind of wavy. There's like a sort of flowing. It's almost like a liquid kind of. Oh, actually, because it's the black and the outside, it almost feels like oil. Like it's like the images are appearing in oil as it's going through this fight.
Yeah.
So you know it's the hallucination compared to the real world, where it's actually the regular boxes.
And then you have that full page where all the colours and it's all over the place.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
So it does a really good job of making it clear what is the real world and what is just inside Dick's head. And that's really fun. And obviously they fight back. Simon Hart, and when they leave, the whole place, like obviously Deathwing stabs Simon with the knife, and it's like sends him back to whatever hell he came from, and they basically leave a giant Nightwing logo shaped crater in the desert, which is pretty badass, if I do say so myself.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I guess that's because he was like trying to like use Nightwing as a sacrifice, so it was his symbol that became this. This whole like, so it's pretty cool. Obviously, the big stuff at the end, though, which gave me lots of feels, is that Sean's not pregnant. She had another test. She's not pregnant.
Oh man!
And she has to. She's like, Dick, I need you to leave me alone for a little while. I need to like be with myself and paint. Like that's her therapy. It's her painting. And I actually really love that panel at the bottom of that page, where it's like her and she shuts her eyes and she sees like all the horrors that she's just experienced. She sees Peg. She sees the Daltrons, and it's like she has to paint this. She has to get it out of her system. In her way, and I really like that.
Do you know what is really bad? Like, I'm not entirely sure if it was just a false positive, or did she lose it going through all this?
Yeah.
And the thing is that she won't know either, and that's probably what makes it worse.
Yeah. I just
man, thanks for bumming me out. I didn't even think
Sorry, had you guys not looked at it that way?
I hadn't thought about it that way. No, and now you've.
Oh, sorry.
Now you've dragged the mood down. Luckily, the final couple of pages of this book was probably the most sort of like happy, kind of teary-eyed I've gotten this week, where basically, Damien's like, yeah, it was kind of an excuse just to come see you because I missed you. And he's like, yeah, don't you breathe a word of this to anyone, Grayson, or I will like give you all kinds of hellfire.
Well, actually, no. The one that I really liked about that is at the end. He says, when he's like, "Tell anyone, I'll rain 1,000 hells upon you," and he says Richard, not Grayson.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And I thought it was a really nice touch.
That's a very, very specific little touch because he always says Grayson and he calls him Richard instead. And they get a call like, oh, just because Damien's going back to the Teen Titans, he's going to go and do his thing. Oh. And they get a call, so something's been broken into the bank or whatever. And he's like, oh, you got time for one last little thing before we go? And he's like, oh, the heir to the mantle of the Batman and the original Robin are coming for them. And it's just like this bonding between them that's really cool. And then the final line of the comic is, we are still the greatest. And it's just like, oh man, just make him a permanent cast member of this book, or give me Nightwing and Robin. I don't care which, but give me it. Yeah,
because like Nightwing says to him there, it's like, hey, when Bruce came back, I was thinking maybe you should stay with me and be my partner, not his.
Yeah.
And
I want it.
If only.
I want it so much. They are so good together. I want Dick and Damien. And at least, even if we don't get a book, I feel like this sets up that relationship's there. And every so often we'll get this. We'll get one of them in the other book. Obviously we'll get Lazarus. Oh, not Lazarus. Lazarus. In my head I was like, Lazarus, Judas, which one is it? Which one was first? Lazarus contract. We're getting that next, so obviously they'll both be involved in that. So maybe we'll get a little bit of the relationship there. But I love them together, and this arc just solidified it. No, this relationship is intact. They have this connection, and this should be a big thing. Whenever they do get to interact with each other, it'll be there, and that's good. I'm glad they've really established that. So.
Yeah, it is the best relationship in the DCU for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to really think about that if I was going to call it the best. I'd have to really think about all the other like books and couples and teams, and it's up there. It's definitely up there. Don't get me wrong, but I'd have to really think about it.
That's fair.
But yeah, because Jessica and her ring might be is getting up there as well now.
That is pretty good too.
That is not bad. Yeah.
But no, Nightwing was another great issue. I was going to say if it was the best one of the arc. I really can't remember. There was so many good ones throughout this arc.
But I would definitely say it's my favourite arc so far.
Oh yeah, I'd agree with that. I think they have progressively gotten better in Nightwing.
Yeah, and I can't wait for whatever's next.
I like Bloodhaven more than the Raptor stuff, and I like this more than the first Bloodhaven stuff. So, yeah, bring it on. I think we're getting to some classic Nightwing stuff next, actually, if I remember right. Blockbuster's showing up.
Sweet.
After we do the Lazarus stuff, so actually he's not even part of the Lazarus stuff. I'm thinking that because he's in Titans and Titans is part of it. Forget my my wandering brain. All right, that'll take us on to Green Arrow number 22. Benjamin Percy writing, John E. Ferreyra on art. So sorry, let me correct that. Jaun, I said John there. Slip of the tongue. Yeah, so this is this part 2 of the Rise of Star City, and this was another really strong issue. I'm loving that we're back to this, like, you know, grade A Green Arrow stuff after the arc that we weren't as keen on. And right away, the fact that it's like the city's on fire after the events of the last issue with the planes coming down. We find out it was actually multiple planes, it wasn't just the one. And like Oliver's there as a fireman helping out. And I love the contrast between all the roaring fire, everything's really orange, but the rain's still pouring down from last issue. So he's got this wet hair as he's like helping the firemen. And the firemen are sticking up for him. There's a lot in there. There's just a lot of great stuff. The art is phenomenal throughout the issue, as we've come to expect from the teams on Green Arrow. And from there, he gets into a fight with at least 3 of the 4 horsemen. Eddie, Brick, and Cheshire. And that's all going on. Again, great stuff in terms of the art and all that. And
also, I forgot Brick was a real estate developer. I always forget that's part of his character. So it makes sense that he took out the buildings.
I think that's fair. Obviously, I mentioned the art. Obviously, the motions there, as Ferreyra always has. Also, throughout the fight with the horseman, he also has this. The panels are very inventive. He has a lot of like sort of angled edges and things like that to give again, it helps with the motion more than anything else.
It really does, yeah.
But it shows you the flow of the fight in a really fun way. But it's really cool.
Yeah.
Did we get most of the horsemen right last issue? You know, we were going right. So we definitely got Cheshire as Pestilence. I know that.
Right.
Yeah.
Did we get the others?
We got Brick.
No. Because Brick was...
Because you corrected me, because I didn't know who it was and you said Brick.
Yeah. Who does Brick was? Which one?
War.
War. Yeah, that makes sense. And then that means fire. Eddie Fire's death.
Yeah.
Which would make the mayor Famine, which makes sense because he's starving the city.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because we got the political stuff comes back in because the reporters interviewing him, and it's basically he just keeps talking about how it benefits him and his image by having all this chaos going on.
And you know, when he's talking to the reporter, that's when Percy's unsubtlety really comes back in full force.
Yep.
When he's like, "Oh, this interview's over. I'm sick of this media bias." It's like, okay, Percy.
Do you know what? I'll let it go because it fits. At least it doesn't.
It does.
Yeah.
It fits, and it makes him a proper villain. And there's some real world,
Which, by the way,
stuff you could apply it to.
Can I talk about how beautiful the page in the middle of this conversation is when it cuts to the the 9 circle mask with the star?
Yeah.
Oh, it's incredible, isn't it?
Yep.
The detail on that mask is glorious.
It's like a 70s era black metal album cover.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
And that transitions because obviously we knew she found out the whole star, the map and how it's drawing the star and all that, and shows Oliver, so he's that information now too.
With the ley lines and all that weird stuff. Yeah.
Also, he realizes that the Queen Industries building is right in the middle of the star, so big things there.
Of course it is.
But obviously he's questioning like his father, was he involved in this? Was he building Queen Industries as part of this? Is this completely changing the outlook on his father? And he gets into this fight with Dinah about it, and he's like, "No, you told me to bury Oliver Queen and just be the Green Arrow, but that was a mistake because like my family name could have helped this, and they've been sold a lie and blah blah blah."
He starts it by saying, "You need to apologize," and she's like, well, "For what?" And then he goes into that, and you're just like, "Oh, you jerk!" Like she's been at your side this whole time, and I mean, understandably, he's frustrated. But just the you need to apologize. I was just like, oh man, Ollie, not a good look, dude.
Do you know what it is he has some good points, because she's like, the city voted for this chaos, like they need to accept their responsibility. And he's like, yeah, but they were sold on a lie. I have to tear down that lie. And I think that's a good point. You have to kind of expose if there's been lies, but she's like, no, but you're going to impose your views on them, so that's closer to fascist. Which just calls him a fascist, basically. But
she straight up just calls him a fascist. But
what I like about it is they do both have points. Like I can kind of see what they're both saying, and really what they need to do is meet in the middle and attack it that way.
Yeah.
But
here's the thing that in this day and age, in this world, fascist gets thrown around. I feel Dinah's wrong.
Oh, she's over the top. She's putting it to an extreme level. Yeah.
And I get that she's building a straw man and stuff, but I poked fun that she sounded like she was describing Batman also, as she rambles off that list as she's describing Ollie. So, I definitely feel like Ollie's more right here than she is, because he is trying to do the heroic thing. He's going, yeah, they voted for it, but they were fed a lie. I can't let them just do this. I know that because again, we saw that the election was fixed, too, from the start.
Yeah,
that's true.
But,
so,
interesting. I still kind of agree with her, because it's not the fact that what he's doing is wrong, like you say, he wants to expose that, but it's the fact that the way he goes about it, he's like, just goes, oh, you wouldn't understand about any of this. And he's literally talking down to her.
He's been a
dick. No, you're wrong. You need to know better.
That's why it's not a completely one-sided conversation, because he has been a complete dick about it. This is the thing. Whenever he gets on his high horse, he goes into this mode, and I think that's why you don't blame her for getting angry at him. But at the same time, I think the fascist line is a bit too far, because he does want to expose what and as Matt pointed out, it was fixed. It was corrupt. They didn't really vote for it. So our line's kind of moot at that point.
You can tell that she's just angry and she's looking for something that's basically she's taking a sucker punch at him, thinking what am I going to be able to do that's going to upset him even more? And by the end of it, they're down Diggle. I mean, Roy's still kind of there, but not really. And Dinah's really his only go-to.
I was going to say that leads us on to the final scene of the book. Yeah. Is we have what's his face? What's his helper guy called? Fife. Yeah. No wonder I didn't remember that. It's a stupid name.
Henry. Well, they call him Henry, but it's Henry Fife.
But yeah, so he's in the new treehouse base, and he's actually on he's on the phone to Roy. He's like, "Yeah, we might need your help. Things are kind of going down here." And of course, Eddie, maybe all the horsemen, but I think it might just be Eddie with some grunts because you don't really see the other people. It's just all kind of silhouettes and stuff. But he's coming to the base, and then like we see the final page. It's Eddie. Or Henry, sorry. That's because I was talking about Eddie. Henry's like standing in the middle of the treehouse and it's all on fire. Like it's like, oh dear, you're in trouble. And obviously Roy's heard this, so Roy's presumably en route for the next issue. So it's an exciting cliffhanger. I really like this issue. The first half, probably more so in the second half, just because of again, I talk a lot about atmosphere, but see when the art can give me atmosphere. Like just as something as simple as the wet ground at the start, like you can see the puddles and the ripples of the water and the reflections in them. It just does so much for me. And I liked it. We didn't mention this at the start as well, but it actually cuts around different parts of the city. Like, Canary's in a different part of the city helping people from the building.
That panel where she has to, goes, sound the alarm.
Yeah, and she screams down the street.
Screams. It's phenomenal, that panel.
Yeah, and then we see Emmy, who we don't see in any other part of the issue, but she's helping people as well. And, like, people are... and she's, like, being her usual catty self and bantering with people. Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting. The cover... the layout of the cover actually plays into the last issue, with the top third and in the third and the 2/3, whereas this issue obviously doesn't actually do that. So I thought it was interesting there. It's almost like they're on the wrong ones.
Yeah. I'm liking this arc a lot. I think it feels big stakes. Them all splitting up at the start of the issue to go and help various like incidents throughout the city. It makes it feel big. The fact that the reporter's coming to Green Arrow with this information, there's this big conspiracy, the 4 horsemen feeling proper evil. The whole thing just feels like it feels like the season finale of the TV show, if that makes sense. Yep. If this has been like a series, this is the finale to this season, and then we'll start fresh after this.
Except it's much better than any of the actual season finales that the show had.
Oh yeah, I'm not. When I say season finale, when I say the show, I don't mean the actual Arrow. I just mean as if this was a TV show.
Oh, I know. I just wanted to make a dig at Arrow.
Oh sure, yeah. That said, it's timed quite well. It's May. The city must be in trouble.
That's true.
But it's all good stuff. So that's Green Arrow. That'll take us on to Green Lanterns number 22. Sam Humphries writing and Ronan Cliquet on art. Of course, we ended the last arc with them getting shot into space because it's time for training because they've realised, shit, those rookies are down on Earth without any training, especially Jessica. And we basically just get the introduction from Jessica to the rest of like the world. Like here's Kyle who like shows her around, and here's Kilowog. Here's everything that you've not seen before.
Here's the yellows proper. So I don't think she's met the yellows yet, has she?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
no, just reds, right?
Just reds, yeah.
Even just other lanterns, like other than the 2 that came down to Earth. She's not in Hal briefly. Like she's not met like all like this planet full of lanterns. This is all new to her.
Yeah, she's never met Jaun, I don't think, right?
And she gets stripped of her emblem or lantern on her chest.
Oh, and that pisses her off.
It's just a white circle now.
Yeah, she's a white circle.
Yeah, she's not happy.
She does not take it well at all.
Yeah. Actually, going back to her and her ring having a good relationship, I loved it when she stops getting she gives a command to stop flying to Mogo, right?
Yep.
And she's left just stranded there in space. And she's like, right, where am I? Oh, you're like 2,000 sectors from home, and you're 3,000 sectors from where we're going. There's nothing nearby to go to. And she's like, and it like cracks a joke, and she's like, oh man, who taught you to be so smart mouthed or smart ass? He's like, you did. That's like just this is fun stuff.
Her ring's pretty
there's
great.
Something with her ring that I am just waiting for them to reveal. Because the ring has a personality. And
it's
all my
the
years reading
spirit of Connor. Nah, I'm not even going to finish that sentence. I'm not going to finish that sentence. I'm not giving you enough satisfaction.
But no, I feel like in all my years reading Green Lantern, I've never heard of a ring having this much personality, and I like that. It's almost become its own character.
Yeah, so it's kind of like her Jarvis almost in a way.
Yeah,
the way it's become.
Yeah, very much.
Sense of humor. It's cool. Also, I love Kyle, so I love getting some serious Kyle time in this issue. I'm glad.
I guess.
Because obviously we end the issue finding out that Kyle's going to train Simon and Guy's going to train Jessica. So I'm happy we're getting more.
It's going to be so fun.
I'm happy we're getting more Kyle. I care more about Kyle than I do Guy. Suck it.
See, I'm really happy because I care much more about Guy than I do Kyle, and I care much more about Jessica than I do Simon. So that's fine. Just shove off the two I don't care about as much to one side, and let me enjoy Jessica and Guy.
That Simon's like, Guy's the worst.
I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Me and Simon.
Two
peas in a pod.
Of the other four.
Oh no!
It's of course they are the same person. Simon and Guy are along the same lines. That's why they butt heads. So,
I like Kyle more than Guy. I like Kyle more than Jaun. Sorry guys, but I like Kyle.
That's fine. You don't have to apologize. You know where you'll get more Kyle.
Yeah. You can like what you like, but you're wrong.
GLC.
But...
You're Ginger. You're just wrong by default.
Yeah, but I like Gardner too. So what are you gonna do?
I'm sorry. Did Guy pluck out someone's eye with? Did Kyle pluck out someone's eye with his bare hands? No, he didn't.
He could paint that though.
Yeah, but that's not cool. That's like, oh, okay, there's talent, but it's not actually doing it. It's much cooler.
Oh man,
stop giving me shit.
But yeah, I like.
Enjoy. It's
go ahead.
Simon and Kilowog just having the beers and telling stories.
That's what I was going to get to. That Wog is. He looks like this big, intimidating guy to Jessica, but to Simon, he's like, "Oh, Kilowog, what's up, man?"
That's actually my favorite page. Is that full page where it's Kilowog standing in front of Jessica and he's like, snarling. That's pretty stuff.
Yeah, you've got all the breath coming out his nostrils and this big, massive jet of steam, basically.
That's great. Jessica's reacting to everything as a first timer is like really giving this some life, I think. Because obviously I was really happy it was set on Earth, but I'm actually I'm cool with this now. Like her experience and all this is really grounding it, and it's not just random space stuff constantly, which is cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And we also get Rami being brought up to.
Well, Rami, but secretly Volthoom inside.
Yeah.
That was the one bit I thought was a little bit
out of place.
It's just the actual narration of I'm actually Volthoom. It's like okay, I know.
It was just reminding us because it's been a while since I've mentioned it.
It was a bit ham-fisted. I thought it could have been handled a little bit better.
That's fair, because it's been gone since before the polarity stuff. So I think they were just. Obviously, it could have been handled better, but I get why they put it in there. Like, I understand.
I get the reminder. Just the way it was a bit clunky for me.
That's fair.
I'm feeling that they're going to have this mystery, which is the first time I've heard about it because I did get caught up on Green Lantern Corps. But they send out the rings to find replacements, and the rings never come back.
Yeah, that was the first I've heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah, they tasked Rami with fixing that since he created the first, and. This is just leading down the line to Volthoom corrupting all the rings at one time.
And they're giving him access to all of Rami's old documentation and papers, and Volthoom's just perfect. I'm going to wreck the universe. Yeah. So no, I enjoy this a lot. I'm actually really excited about expanding Jess and Simon's sort of role in the Lantern Corps. I want them to come back to Earth. I want them to keep patrolling Earth, but. I'm cool with going out for arcs occasionally to stuff like this. I think their training should be fun.
It's nice that it's been a while on Earth as well, so this does feel like a legitimate break rather than just okay, we're here already.
This will be the 4th trade, I think, so that's a good time. 3 stories roughly on Earth.
We had to deal with the Reds, and then we got the fun stuff with Rami and the Phantom Lantern, and then Dr. Polaris, and now this, so
yeah.
Oh, it's good.
Also, I thought the art was mostly pretty good. All the aliens looked, solid. But Guy Gardner actually looked a bit weird. His face, just at the end, just looked a bit off.
That's.
I'll look this up.
Yeah,
I need to corroborate this.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. It stood out as less good than everything else in the issue, to me at least.
Less good. What?
Less good.
Kilowog looked great. That's all I care about, really. Ultimately.
Oh yeah.
And Kyle looked good as well. Kyle's chunky ass mask, which I love. I can see what you mean. Do you know what? I'll at least argue for it that the expression seems right. Even though the face looks a bit weird, the expression of smugness coming on his face feels appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just doesn't quite look right. I think it's his ears, maybe. The ears seem like they stick out really far. They look almost like Shrek ears. This
Kind
one
of.
on the left.
Kind of, yeah.
I think maybe it's just that and
Yeah, I didn't notice
angles
it,
that.
Connor, until you said something. So thanks.
Well, I'm sorry.
He ruins everything, doesn't he, Matt?
I did.
He does.
Uh,
Also,
first
Jaun,
Nightwing, now this.
they were supposed to bring Jaun decent coffee.
He's pissed about it, yeah.
Yeah, they forgot. So.
Well, don't forget, no one told
Well, actually-
Simon to bring him coffee.
No, they forgot, but it showed up with Rami because the Guardians have it.
Yeah. It was almost like they were just blaming Simon, like, oh shit, it's not here. It's Simon's fault.
Yeah.
Simon's bringing it, Jaun. And then John's like, oh, where's my damn coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. The yellow lantern that Jessica trips over, like with all the tentacles, was pretty goofy but wonderful looking at the same time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I appreciate that he's basically just got like a little tunic under all these like flaps that has the symbol on it, because that's basically all they can do with them.
Yeah.
Because he can't wear anything else. I mean, he's not really got any.
He's got the armbands around his wrists.
Oh, that's true. Yes, he's got little arms as well. That's fair.
I love that he has tentacles and arms. That's just being greedy.
He's also got like what, 8 mouths, something like that, maybe more.
Yeah, I can see 8, but that doesn't mean there's not more on the other side.
That is true. That is true. But no, solid, fun character building. I'm excited to see them getting trained. So that's cool stuff.
Yeah.
Alright, so last main sort of full-time book is Deathstroke 18, which I have not caught up yet. I read a few more issues. I'm up to... I think I read up to 12 now. I'm one after the Chicago issue, so yeah, I'm up to 12.
Okay.
So I've got, what, now 6 left to do before the crossover starts next week. So I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. But Deathstroke 18, Christopher Priest writing, Joe Bennett on art. Take it away.
So this issue really is the end of part 1 of this run, because this goes back to everything, right back to the Rebirth issue, and brings it all in, and goes, okay, this is where this all fits together.
Do you think that's indicative of how long it's going to be then? If this is like a trilogy of parts
I
kind
think
of thing?
so.
Potentially. It feels like this is part 1. Obviously, we kind of know the outcome of Lazarus thanks to some solicits and whatnot. So that's like the start of part 2. And,
Having said that, though, it's switching to single shipping, so even though, okay, you get an idea of how many issues are left, that could be like another 4 years, given...
Yeah.
Yeah, potentially.
So, yeah. Oh, go on.
Okay, so where do we start? Should we start with Slade and Jericho?
Yeah. Well, because, I mean, we don't see it happening, but somebody's killed the bride.
Yes, which we got at the end of the last issue.
Right, and they jump back, and it's before the wedding, so we get a lot of what's going on there, and we see the Jericho and Etienne are fighting over the pictures with Icon.
Yeah,
and upset, and then what else do we get? Oh, man, so much happens in this
I
book.
mean, we open with Slade and Jericho just fighting and wailing on each other, because Slade's like, yeah, I didn't kill her, and he seems to not believe him.
Yeah. Oh, and we also get that who she was working for, partly.
Yeah.
Is the Wall. So we get that there, which I was not expecting whatsoever.
Yeah, because that's exactly what this needed. Bring in Waller.
Yeah. Because I thought for sure it was Hive, right? Like, we were told it was Hive.
Yeah, it seemed to be Hive.
Was she a triple agent? Like,
maybe? Or it was a swerve?
Yeah, man. It's been crazy. But basically, it's just like you can't be called Father of the Year when you were, nailing your son's fiance, who was a double agent who was cheating on him anyways, and they weren't supposed to get married, and all this other.
By the way, when does that come up? The one plot point I remember from you talking about from the first 15 issues was that he's buying his son's fiance, and I keep waiting for it. And it's
within 2 or 3 issues of where you are.
Yeah,
it was actually fairly recently.
I feel like it was ages ago though. I feel like I've been hearing about him buying his.
No.
It was. I think it was at the start of this Twilight arc.
Twilight. Yeah.
I just read
before he loses his vision.
Yeah, I read the first issue of the Twilight arc today. So I mean, okay, I'm sure I'm getting there, but I keep waiting. I'm like, when's this
Yeah.
bombshell dropping?
But yeah, definitely it brings everybody that we've seen so far kind of together, because you have his ex-wife and her new husband and Icon and villain Wilhelm. It's French, and it brings them all back up. And Rose comes in. Jizeki picks Rose up. So there's so much more going on here, because she gets there all right. So I thought that for a second, Jizeki was putting something into play, but it looks like he was just picking up Deathstroke's daughter for him.
Yeah, and then he gives her the costume. It's like, hey, you gotta make a choice, be what your own person, and not just his daughter.
Yeah, be the Rose, don't be the Ravager. Be the Rose, which I like for this episode issue, and it really did weirdly enough drive home the point of family, because Jericho can hate him, but it's still his dad, and then. He had done all this messed up stuff to Rose, but he weirdly did it out of love. And when Rose confronts him on the Mahnke family, he goes, "No, that's still your family. That's still your culture. You should know those people. I didn't hire impersonators. They were close to your mother." So, I like that you see his reasoning that he's messed up Grant, because we still don't know what happened to Grant. We just know he's on the ground.
That stuff sort of kind of plays into this at the end. We get flashbacks to that Rebirth issue. The stuff with the bear.
Yep.
It's all coming back up. And it's like that's why this really feels like the end of the part where stuff from that issue is relevant again. It's like, okay.
Yeah, because you see some of that stuff replay out here, and then with Jericho, he messed up because he almost got him killed by getting his throat cut and completely altered his life, as it were. And now it's almost like he's looking at Rose like this is his time to make up for everything wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
By doing that, he's made everything worse. And on top of all that, by trying to save Icon, they've turned him into some Solomon Grundy-looking creature who we only see bits and pieces of.
Yeah, and I think it was interesting. That was in the section entitled Lazarus, I believe.
Yeah.
So, hints of things to come.
But yeah, so I'm excited to see where this goes now, because it feels like Connor said at the beginning, feels like a definitive end, but still nothing actually ended. There's still hanging plot threads to pick up on.
It brought the family drama to a close almost. It was like, okay, everything that was going on with Rose, Jericho, all of that is in the one place. It's all here. We're all dealing with it in the church. And that's it, basically. So it's all that stuff that's right back to the start of the run, that all these fractured relationships, they're all been brought back together in the one room at last.
Yeah.
But it was a good issue, and it's kind of annoying we still didn't really get an answer to our cliffhanger from before.
No, but I think that's going forward. I think something is going on underneath that we don't know.
Issue 35. That's where you get an answer.
Probably. Yes. Well, because and you get a lot of Wintergreen being like, I don't want to be a part of this, but so I'm not implicating him.
He's kind of annoyed that they've used his voice for Slade's conscience.
Yeah, and so I feel there's more going on with Wintergreen, because remember, he's been going off on his own, and it wasn't to do just the stuff Slade had asked him. So. He was at that gala thing where Deadline had attacked, and he had made his debut as Twilight, and Power Girl's still running around, after him. So, because they bring that up too.
Yeah, it feels like, okay, so we're getting little hints still of what's to come, but we don't really know yet. Of course, it ends with Jericho punching out Slade and Rose, and they're kind of lying on the floor, blood everywhere. Yep. And then the caption just says, "Next Titans, finally the truth revealed." So maybe we'll get some answers in this crossover.
I'm thinking, because traditionally Grant was the first Ravager, and he was hired by Hive to take out the Titans and failed. So Deathstroke, with his weird honor code, picked up it, and that's how he became their main villain. So I'm wondering if we're going to get a bit of a retelling there of the Grant.
It could be. Maybe there's almost like a twist to it as to what really happened.
Exactly.
And And obviously it says the truth revealed. I wonder if that means some of the truth of what's gone on with Etienne and obviously this truth, whatever it is, will play into Slade and why he changes his outlook, presumably.
Definitely.
Cool. That's Deathstroke issue 18. That'll take us on to Bane Conquest issue 1, which is written by Chuck Dixon and art by Graham Nolan. So Blast from the Past, very 90s team. It looked and felt very 90s, which I appreciated. I felt a bit of nostalgia looking at it. Unfortunately, I can barely remember what any of it was about, even though I skimmed through it again before we started recording.
I know there's a dude named Zombie and a dude named Trog.
So there's a boat. They go into the boat because it's like smuggling guns to Bane's city, and he goes to go at them to question some people, which leads them elsewhere. And there's some.
You've overlooked the greatest part of the book already.
Oh, go on. What was the greatest part of the book?
Bane with a sword chopping off a dude's hand when he points the gun at him.
Okay, that's not bad. I'll give you
Sure.
That's just cool.
I'll be honest, I'm very underwhelmed. Like, it was okay at best.
I'll tell you what my single biggest problem is.
Yeah.
This does not feel like the Bane we just had in Batman.
No, it doesn't.
No.
And that's a problem because, I could take this issue and read it on its own, and it's probably enjoyable enough without that expectation of, oh, this is what Bane's just been through. This is where his mindset is.
This
is like, what we want to see him do.
It just feels like 90s Bane. Which, it makes sense given who's writing and drawing the art, but it's just kind of like... It doesn't fit.
It's a lot of Bane rampaging around, running into people and, punching stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's no... Doesn't seem like he's got the tactical brain that we just saw him have in Batman and, really think about who he's hurting and what he's doing. This feels like, I'll just do whatever. Just run into it. Luckily,
given this is just a separate mini, it's probably going to be quite easy to just ignore and pretend it's not happening.
Yeah, it almost feels out of continuity, really.
It does.
Yeah, kind of. Which is weird because they promoted it as, it's after Bane's went through this in Batman, this is where he is in life and whatnot. And
that is my biggest problem. If this was just they going, no, it's an out of continuity mini 90s Bane, I'd go, cool, this is all right. This is what I was promised. And I think, like you said, you felt underwhelmed. And if that had been what you told you were getting, I think you'd have gone, yeah, this is exactly what I thought I was going to get.
I probably still wouldn't want to read any more of it, though. I don't think I really need to read a 12-issue Bane.
That is fair.
Mini.
Yeah.
But, I obviously gave it a chance because I wanted it to be good, but I'm just kind of feeling like, I barely retained any details about what was going on, and that's just a sign that I wasn't that into it.
Yeah.
It was fair enough. It's going to be a standalone, and I like Bane as a character, but I don't like this version of him. He kept calling Gotham his. So when he kept talking about his island or his home, I was thinking about it with Santa Prisca.
Yeah, I was thinking that at first as well.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So I was like, this is all weird, and I don't care about his sidekicks and his,
Yeah, it was a strange issue, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then Damocles was supposed to mean something, and I'm like, I'm not going to go back. Yeah, that's the
big cliffhanger at the end. Is what was it? Kandak he goes at the end, I think.
Yeah, or Kurak.
Kurak. I'm just thinking of all DC places.
They're right next door. They go to war all the time.
But he goes there, and this is the villain that's behind what's going on, and it's like, okay, fine. Needless to say, I will not be reading issue 2. It's not terrible by any means. I just
I don't think it was a bad comic. I just think it was just very standard. It was fine.
Wasn't my thing. Like Connor said, it wasn't bad, but I didn't like reading it.
Yeah.
I was glad when I was done, and I was like, okay, no more.
Yeah, and it's weird because this is on a week 1. We could use another book for week 1 just to, but whatever. There you go. That's Bane Conquest number 1, which I guess was the start of the quick section because that was pretty quick. Which leaves one more book for the quick section, and the quick section is quite short on this week because there's less books, so we don't feel the need to be as stingent about it. But Fall and Rise of Captain Atom number 5. Cary Bates and Greg Weisman writing, and Will Conrad on art. I have not been reading this. I didn't like the first issue, but you two have been reading it, and I assume you both read issue 5. Go for it.
Yeah, so I was really enjoying the family stuff that we got the last 3 issues.
Yeah.
And then this just kind of wipes it all away. And I was like, oh no, all the family stuff? Oh, look at this cool villain that we created last issue.
Yeah, and it was kind of a... let's showcase what this version of Captain Atom can do now. Let's establish his power set and his control. And I feel like we kind of had that already. Maybe not the exact powers, but it was like we get he's stable now. We get he's under control.
Yeah, he's the only Captain Atom.
Yeah, but this felt like an entire issue of just reiterating that.
Yeah, and then so in the last issue there was that criminal that was being put to death, the hitman, as he exploded and he was out of time. Well, he ended up getting powers because Captain Atom saved him. Now he's going by the name Ultramax because he escaped from an Ultramax prison, which is weird. And throughout,
I think his name was Max something.
Yeah,
his name was Max.
So this just fell off a cliff for me because I didn't care. What sold me was the family stuff, and we get some of that, but there's it's only a couple pages.
Yeah, that was the best stuff in this issue was him going and meeting his kid. Now, obviously, his kid's grown up, and he's never known his father, and he doesn't tell him, obviously, because that would be
it's only gonna mess him up.
Yeah. But I like that side of things.
Mm-hmm. But the main story involves Ultramax tracking down people he used to do business with because he was a hitman for hire, and someone flipped on him, and that's how he ended up in jail. And now he's going back over the people he's worked for and killing them, taking them out with his newly found powers. And I'm just like, okay, this is not that interesting.
And the general that we've been with. For the whole story, he's the last one on the list. That he's the final issue is going to be, let's protect Eiling, basically.
Yeah,
and
we know Eiling's the one that flipped on him. Yeah, you got to finish it. So here I thought this was going to be one of those secret ones that has a lot to do with building the foundation, kind of like Titan's Hunt in Lois and Clark were for Rebirth. I thought with the character of Captain Atom being a basically that's who Dr. Manhattan is in the Watchmen universe. I figured we'd get some of that. I figured we'd get some more time travel, jumping back and forth because of the unstable quantum stuff.
But
now it just kind of became a bargain basement superhero story.
Yeah, once they stabilized him and he went all red and we got the new version of him, it was like, it got a bit less interesting.
So...
It became clear that this series is not about the timey-wimey stuff that we were excited about. No. It's about let's set up what the new version of Captain Atom is, so we can bring Captain Atom into play. Which, the same way that the Death of Hawkman, that stuff is kind of going, okay, that's clearing up that Hawkman stuff, so we can do what we want with Dark Knights. This is like, okay, let's establish this Captain Atom so that he can come into play, presumably in the nearish future.
Yeah, I don't know what his role is outside of this, because he wasn't a major character in DC to begin with, even before the New 52 quantumized him and made him unstable.
Yeah.
He was Monarch. They went back and fixed that. He was supposed to be Monarch in Armageddon 20,000 or 2001 or whatever that storyline was, and of course they didn't like that at the time, so they made it Hawk. And it made no sense. And they went back and they retconned that back. And, so that was always his purpose, was to be this hero that loses faith and becomes a villain, and takes everyone out.
Yeah.
I just don't know where his place is right now in Rebirth.
I feel like his place is in Rebirth is going to play into the Manhattan stuff just because of because Manhattan and, they're analogs. So it's like, okay. But
I think if he does, though, he'll be more of a plot device than he will be an actual character in the story.
Probably.
Cause he's not big enough. He's not important enough to actually give him he's this character who's going to fight Manhattan. It's going to be he's going to be like a power battery for Batman and Flash while they're fighting Manhattan or something like that.
Maybe, and this series could have made him into that, all the family stuff. It gave him depth as a character, but then they kind of just abandoned it towards the end to do here's another villain. It feels like some of the comic book movies where it's like, okay, they're starting some stuff off, it's interesting, and then you get, the big bad's here, let's just do the fight. And that's kind of what this miniseries has been.
That's a shame. Makes me feel good about dropping it, though. So.
Yeah, you're really not missing too much.
Silver linings.
It'll... Yeah. If you do want to read it, let's say he does become an integral part of the story going forward, it's 5 issues you can go pick up and read through, or it's a small trade. So it's good that it's there, but reading it month to month is man.
Yeah, just
So
one more though.
this month. Yep.
All right, cool.
Maybe it'll surprise us.
All right, I'll take us on then to the best stuff of the week, as we always do. So we will start with the best panel of the week, and I'm conflicted. I've got a few choices that I could pick. So I'm going to go with Connor first. Connor, what's your best panel of the week?
It's the last page of Nightwing. Yeah, we're the greatest.
You son of a you.
That's a good one.
I told you that in confidence. I told you that in confidence. You're going to steal my thunder.
I can't help it.
That's a good one. I'm hard pressed not to pick that myself. I might go differently. But Matt, are you picking the same one, or are you?
It's Nightwing. We're the greatest, and it's so iconic because it's got Nightwing doing his pose, and it's got Robin almost doing a Dark Knight Returns
now
kind of pose.
I agree with you two, and I probably would pick that, but I'm just going to, just for the interest of being different, I'm going to highlight a different panel just for the fun of it. And I think I'm going to go with something from Green Arrow. I think there was so much good stuff in Green Arrow. I'm going to have to maybe settle on that page of the mask, the 9 circle mask, because it's like there's all these undertones to the conversation the mayor's having with the reporter, and then you turn the page and it's like, no, here's the subtext. Like, it's like, here's the real horror of what's going on, like just bold and like shocking, and like it's kind of like, it's almost the dialogue's not subtle, but it's almost being subtle in that it's just behind these lies, and it's like, no subtlety. I'm Ben Percy.
he doesn't know how to do subtle, does he?
So
it's like it's almost subtle for a page, and it's like, nah, screw this. Here you go.
Evil. That's what that was. So I'll go with that. Although there was a lot of ones I could have picked. I could have picked a couple from Batman. I could have picked some from Green Arrow at the start with the rain and the fire, because that was all gorgeous. But I do kind of agree with the Nightwing pick, though. Anyway, best cover of the week. Matt, what was your favourite cover of the week?
So this one was a little bit more difficult because, again, it sucks that these variants end up being the best. So, oh man, I'm gonna have to give it to Batman just because it's a classic image. Because with the lenticular, it went from Thomas standing there with the death of his son and wife to Thawne standing there with Barry crying over his mother. And it's just so sinister, like both of them. So
cool. Connor?
I'm going to go with Green Arrow. I think that cover is just fantastic.
I'm going to have to say with Connor on this one, go with Green Arrow also.
See, I wasn't a big fan of it. I think that it looks weird with her yelling. And
I like her yelling.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's working for me.
With Cheshire, I don't know. It feels like it's part of a bigger piece. Like if that ends up being part of like a connecting covers going forward, then I would retract my statements. But yeah, that looks weird.
Fair enough. I'm into it. Best art of the week. I'll start off. Given that I picked the panel and the cover, it's probably no surprise that I'm going with Green Arrow. There was good art, obviously, in Batman and Superman, and Nightwing even, and some of the stuff in Lanterns, but Green Arrow, I think I've picked, whenever Ferreyra's on Green Arrow, he has a really good chance of winning for me, because he has those sense of motion and the atmosphere, and I mentioned the rain and the fire and all these things mixing together to really give it like a feel. Green Arrow for me. Matt?
Mine's gonna be Superman for Mahnke. I really like him and him drawing Lois. Coming into the episode, it was gonna be Batman, and I was so conflicted. At that.
Oh, what a surprise. Superman won out over Batman.
Yeah, right. But as we were talking about it, and some of the stuff that Pete was pointing out that Mahnke does so well, and just like the atmosphere that's going on in the small town and how creepy it felt, made me realize I think that art definitely was... I had overlooked it as I was reading, just because I got distracted by Fabok.
My two pillars for art, my first two things that I judge it on, are atmosphere and facial expressions.
Yeah.
You give me those two things, then you're already like really high in my books.
Yeah.
Then you add in like sequencing and like moving from panel to panel, and then nitty gritty after that. But those are the things I really care about when I'm talking about art. Connor, art of the week.
Green Arrow. It's just gorgeous.
Wise choice. Wise choice. All right. So top 5 books of the week. We'll start with Connor then. Top 5.
I'm really torn on my number 1. I thought it was going to be Batman, just straight up, but now I kind of want to give it to Nightwing.
You make no sense ever, Ginger. I thought you were gonna say Green Arrow. Good lord.
Screw it, I'm gonna go with Nightwing. Nightwing, Batman, Green Arrow, Superman, Green Lanterns.
Cool. Matt.
I'm gonna go Superman, Batman, Nightwing, Green Arrow. I feel like I'm forgetting one, but we'll go Lanterns. I think that's the right. No, Deathstroke. Deathstroke, then Lanterns.
Well, top 6. We got top 6 from Matt. Okay.
No, but I meant because I forgot about Deathstroke. So
Fair. I'm also going to put Nightwing at number 1 because the feels. I can't deny those feels. So yeah, Nightwing at number 1, Batman at number 2. That's gonna be the exact same as Connor. Jesus Christ, feels weird. Green Arrow at number 3, Superman at number 4, Green Lanterns at number 5. I feel dirty. I feel hurt inside.
You should.
So we had the same
Batman
art.
#1.
We had the same art and cover and the same 5. The only thing we differed on was panel.
And that was only just because I wanted to be different. I really actually agree that was the best panel.
You guys spend way too much time together.
I agree. Jeez. There you go. That's all the best of the week. It leaves me to tell you what's coming next week. So what is coming next week on week 2 of May? Let me tell you. So obviously we don't have Flash 22. That has been delayed. I'll move that on my own schedule here. That's still there from before. What we do have though is we have the start of the Lazarus contract in Titans number 11. We also have Action Comics 979, assuming it's not been delayed because it seems to keep getting delayed. All-Star Batman number 10.
It's there.
Oh, cool.
It's there.
Also, Batgirl
Albuquerque on art.
Oh, tempting. Batgirl and the Birds of Prey number 10, Detective Comics 956, Justice League of America number 6. Although we all dropped that, so that's going down to the bottom of the pile. So that goes down there. New Superman number 11, Supergirl number 9, Superwoman number 10, Wonder Woman number 22, Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps number 20, and then I'm assuming Justice League Power Rangers 5 isn't out because 4's not even out yet.
Nope.
No,
it was solicited for this
next week either.
That is so weird. Also, we're not covering them, but obviously I mentioned Justice League of America. You also have Red Hood and the Outlaws number 10. You know what it'll cost.
I can feel the look being given at me right now.
Suicide Squad number 17 is also out, so that's what's coming next week. Oh, so good.
Is a bug that next week as well?
That is.
Yeah, that's one of the
Young Animal.
Young Animal, yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking of checking that out. The All Reds, yeah.
Yeah. No, I am too.
Yeah, well, you guys can talk about it a bit then.
Plus, I'm a fan of Ambush Bug just as a character who really, for a little bit, was DC's Deadpool because he was completely aware that he was in a comic, and so I want to see what the All Reds do with that in Young Animal because there's no rules, so they can literally do whatever they want with him.
It's actually a mini as well, not just I think it's the first mini in Young Animal, right? The rest are all ongoings.
Yeah. Now, of course, I say Bug. It's Bug, not Ambush Bug. I'm assuming that it's an Ambush Bug story, and not a brand new, wholly new character. I could be wrong, but the art looks great. I mean,
yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, there you go. That's that pretty much wraps us up. So I will once again remind you that we did start a Patreon. So if you want to check that out, you can go over there, patreon.com/mailedfuzz. And check stuff out. Obviously, me and Connor already did one comic bonus. We already talked about doing trades as bonuses as well on there. I think we were considering doing Volume 1 of Black Magic early June for the before the new issues start coming out as a video with all 3 of us. So as you can look sort of forward to that stuff if you're on the Patreon and other bits and bobs. But do check it out, and if you just want to support us, it'd be great if you did. But obviously, don't feel any pressure. Just watching is support enough as well. So thank you very much. Get us on Twitter as well, of course, at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. Individual Twitters are on the screen. But also for the audio listeners, Wibble89 for myself, Connor Ryan94 for Connor, Matt of Steel 57 for Matt. Like, subscribe, give us a rating on iTunes, 5 stars, or SoundCloud. Give us the like. Wherever it is you're experiencing this train wreck that is a show that we sometimes pretend is actually a production of sorts. But there we go. That has been this week's. Thank you very much for watching and or listening. It helps us out so much. We always appreciate it. Keep reading comics and never get lost in the Speed Force.
Long live Connor Kent.
Who?